And welcome back to the Zanpakuto Creation Series. Why I'm speaking in a ethereal voice, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm pre-recording everything because of the Labor Day, I had Labor Day off, but now I have like 5 days where I got to work in a row. Normally I have a break between those, so I want to get these taken care of now, so I'll just have them available to put up before I leave. Um, and this one comes to us from Lord High Admiral Squid, who asked the question, "What do I think Luna Lovegood's Zanpakuto is?" And Luna Lovegood's a kind of slept-on character a little bit. I think she's actually very. I like the fact she's quirky. She's very just. Oh well, the Nargles and all this. Like I found her kind of. She had a lot of charm to her, especially in the original. And especially in the book, but also in the movie. I think they've got a very kind of fun actress to play her. But the question is, what is her Zanpakuto, in my opinion? Well, first and foremost, let's go down the list, because I always go by type, what type of Zanpakuto she has, what is it sealed, or what is it sealed, release, Sheikai Bankai, the spirit, and what form does the Zanpakuto take. Now keep in mind, as always, the name of the Zanpakuto translated comes from the English to Japanese translator on Google, so it's not the proper translation in terms of what it should be. But all right out the gate, she strikes me as a keto type. She's a very passive person. Apparently, like in the lore beyond just the book, she goes on to become a mag zoologist, so a magic zoologist, kind of basically like a Newt Scamander kind of. And she went on to discover lots of mystical creatures, all that. But she comes off as a very intelligent, very kind of quirky, very kind of up in her own head kind of girl. But it's really just because has a very unique outlook on life. And as such, she's not a melee fighter. I don't see her as an elemental user either. I think she is very much she's a keto-based Zanpakuto user. As what the Zanpakuto's sealed form is, katana. Like 90% of Soul Reapers have katanas. I don't think she'd be any different. Now, what would its release be? For me, I can see her release basically just being be yourself. Like, because that's what Luna does. She just does who she is. She is who she is, and she does not apologize for who she is. And I think, something like be yourself is something very, astute. Now, what is the name of her Zanpakuto? And by that admission, because it's connected, what is the spirit of her Zanpakuto? Well, the spirit of her Zanpakuto, I think, is a hare. And I say this because that is the form her Patronus takes. And I felt like when it comes to Harry Potter characters, particularly ones who can use Patronus, I feel like you actually get a pretty good idea of what their Zanpakuto spirit would be, because the Patronus takes kind of like the form of an animal that is kind of representative of the person in their happy moments and like the positive aspects of their personality. So I think a hare is a very good option for a Zanpakuto spirit for her. But beyond that, I think it would be something a little different. I think, and I couldn't really find a picture of a multicolored hare, but I think the hair would be like an ever-changing colored hair. Like maybe multiple colors at once, and it constantly changes between those colors to represent the quirky nature of her. And by explaining that, you now get why Sheikai is called Quirky Hare, and then a Bankai is called the Mad Hare's March. Kind of to go a little Alice in Wonderland there, but honestly, I mean, she kind of would be a bit of an Alice in Wonderland character to some degree, when you really look at how kind of in her head she is. A little out there and all that, and a little crazed to be sure, but not like super crazy or dangerous, just a little quirky. And that translates, by the way, to, and I want to be sure I get Fugawarina, if I got that right, yeah, Fugawarina Usagi. Usagi is the hare, but Fugawarina Usagi is the Sheikai's name, and then Madohe no, Koshin or Kashin, I can't remember if it was Koshin or Kashin, for the Bankai. So again, Sheikai is Fugawarina Usagi. Fugawarina, that W is what's screwing me up here. Fugawarina Usagi. I'm just seeing her releasing, be yourself. Fugawarina Usagi. And then Bankai, Madohe no Kashin. And yeah, now what is the form of this Zanpakuto? What is the Sheikai take? Well, I can already tell you, it's not a offensive Zanpakuto in the traditional sense. She has no problem defending herself, nor does she have a problem defending others, but she's not a aggressive person. She's just very quirky and random. I think it takes the form of basically a metal-tipped bow staff, basically. A staff that is metal-tipped on both ends. So it does have, like if she's a Soul Reaper, obviously, she does have the capability, with a hard enough strike, of killing a hollow, but it's more designed for a defensive type tactic or mild offense. No serious offense unless she actually needs to be seriously offensive. Which is a weird statement to say for Luna, but yeah, seriously offensive Luna. But yeah, now that's what I think the Sheikai is, and I think it fits her style overall. But what does the Sheikai actually do? And this, I think, is very key here. I feel like the main ability of the Sheikai is basically something akin to what we had with... Oh, crap. Give me 1 second for the Fullbringer's name. Something akin to the Fullbringer who had the ability to... Human. 1 second. Who had the jackpot knuckle. What was his name? Hold on. I will find it. Fullbringers. Okay, here we go. It was not Kugo Yetsu Sato. It was Moshishi Gawara's Fullbring was jackpot knuckles, and basically anytime he hit, he'd always get the jackpot. He basically manipulated luck and probability to get like the successful hit. But the longer he used it in succession during his release, the less likely the chances were to get the jackpot. Whereas with Luna's Zanpakuto, I feel basically like it's manipulating probability with momentum. Basically, when she strikes with the tips of the Zanpakuto, when she moves her Zanpakuto, the probability around there works more in her favor. Unfortunately, it's not like, say, Scarlet Witch, who can manipulate probability, or Domino, who can manipulate probability to the umpteenth degree, and basically like, oh, I can make lightning strike you in an instant, and then blow up that sentinel way over in the distance, because probability, the likelihood is almost next to nothing, but I can make it happen. It's not that level of probability manipulation, but for example, if she's using it offensively, and she's swinging fast and hard, even though it's a metal-tipped pole that normally wouldn't, like, do, say, a huge amount of concussive damage to, say, a hollow, it might, like, boom, knock a Menos Grande around a little bit, but it wouldn't like normally damage it. But if she swings hard enough and hits hard enough and swings fast enough, the probability works in her favor that if it were to even just graze the hollow, it could take a giant chunk off the hollow's mask. Or if she were to hit dead on, she could bust that thing's head clean off. That's the kind of probability manipulation I'm talking about. Or if she is literally, doing the whole spinning your bow staff in a circle to maybe like try to block, say, let's use an example, let's say Yamamoto, for example. Hypothetically, she could not beat Yamamoto in a fight, honestly, but not even close. But let's say Yamamoto throws fire at her. She swirls her Zanpakuto in a circle to like block kind of like a shield. And if she's swinging fast enough, her probability is that it's kind of creating a little bit of a pocket of probability in her favor that is shielding her from the fire to some degree. But what does the Bankai do? Well, the Bankai basically kind of now goes into a little bit of what Gin's sword does, Shinso and Kamishini no Yari. It expands and contracts at extremely high speeds. Not the same level that, say, Kamishini no Yari does. But basically what it does is, because it's now expand, it's the perfect kind of Bankai for a Zanpakuto like this, because now what it's doing is it's basically moving at high velocity and speed and increasing the probability to the umpteenth degree that you're going to get, good luck when you hit the target. And likewise, when you, contract and expand, you can probably contract it down to more or less a fist-sized stick, but then quickly contract and expand it again to create, a guard effect that protects you, and again, high-level probability on your side. But there's a catch to a lot of this. The effectiveness is all dependent on the speed and power of the strike. If, like, I could imagine as a young Soul Reaper, her discovering her Sheikai ability, not really being able to use, because it's still a bow staff, it's still big. like she'd really have to practice with this and learn to like be quick and powerful. So it all depends on how well she uses her Sheikai as well as her Bankai. But it can only affect the probability on the staff. The probability on the staff itself. For example, if just because she moved, the staff itself is where the probability manipulation lies. If she tries to hit someone, hit fast and hard, but gets hit in the process, doesn't matter how fast the staff is moving, doesn't matter how hard the staff theoretically hits the target, she still gets hit. She doesn't have any protection herself. In terms of the probability effect per se. Now, like I said, like doing the spinning like shield technique would in theory offer a little bubble of protection, but it's not. It's more like it's more like a curved shield of probability protection. But if someone were to immediately come behind her while she's using that shield effect, she's pretty much still open. So it's the probability manipulation isn't on her, it's the staff itself. The Bankai also, I think, would have the same weaknesses as the Sheikai. The longer the staff becomes, the more unwieldy it becomes too. It's not like Gin, who even when cutting an entire city in half was still wielding a sword with expertise. No, it's the fact that absolutely it can extend extremely fast and long. There may not even be a limit hypothetically, but the longer you extend it, it's even though it is your weapon, the more unwieldy it becomes, and the more difficult it is to use such abilities. I mean, in theory, she could just do like a downward strike and then super extend it fast and long, and and then come down with a supreme power strike and maybe waste an Iran card, maybe. But that is very debatable, and that's all about timing. Because she's very quirky and kind of unpredictable in her nature, I feel like some level of probability manipulation is the best type of is the best type of ability for someone like her. But it's not infallible probability manipulation. She still is limited by her use of her own staff, as well as the use of the ability in and of itself. She does not have any special protection. It's the staff that's manipulating the probability, not her. And the staff is manipulating the probability of the staff itself, not her own personal probability. So that ultimately, though, is, in my opinion, Miss Luna Lovegood's Zanpakuto. Did you like this Zanpakuto that I created? Did you disagree with the Zanpakuto created? If you did disagree with it, what do you think her Zanpakuto would be personally? I like this idea for her because, again, I actually really grew to like her character quite a bit. Ultimately, this is just my thoughts. Always, there's no definitive answer for a character who's not from Bleach, who isn't a Shinigami, on their Zanpakuto. So, if you feel like you could make a better Zanpakuto, or, better subjective, obviously, but if you think you can make your own Zanpakuto for her, let me know what you think her Zanpakuto would be. I'd be interested to hear it. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll review it at some point. Ideas for videos, Star Wars, Superhero Magic, What If, Zanpakuto. Put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you folks next time. Later.